no asphalt. Happy that I rented this mountain bike. Not yet at the Ger Districts, but that right there is the first Ger I see at close range. Look at the residential towers and the shops lining it. This one is indeed going uphill. Hello there and welcome to part 2 of my biking trip through Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia. In part 1 I took you along to some interesting locations such as Zaisan Hill, a big Buddha statue, a Silk Road monument, etc. In part 2 I'm gonna go away from those areas, more into the authentic parts. More specifically, I'm gonna show you the contrasts that appear in the city. And the contrasts of the city of Ulaanbaatar can already see from this footage that I shot half an hour ago and that made it into part 1 of this trip. You can see a view of the city with the high rises that I'm at right now, and in the back on the slopes you see the Ger Districts. That's a completely different cup of tea and we'll find that out today. First, the posh districts. If I make a 360, you see all these residential towers that to me look pretty posh. Let's explore those first. Bridge over the river Tul again. You may remember on the way in it was completely stuck on the other side. Not so anymore, but I want to give you a better view of the river Tul. Like I said, a kind of a sacred river for the Mongolian people. And here we go. That's it right here. Tul River. The traffic is unpredictable here. That I've noticed so far. Let's see if I can squeeze my way through here. I probably can. This is why I like a mountain bike. Holes in the road. Fancy apartment buildings, I think. Upper class would be my guess. Look at the residential towers and the shops lining it. See a lifestyle platform, a fancy supermarket, and lo and behold, right in front of me, Fila Skates of Mongolia. This is a bike video, but obviously I'm also very much into inline skating. The Lux supermarket.
Yeah, Ulaanbaatar is on record as the coldest capital of the world, but today it was pretty warm. I needed some fluids, and the Deluxe supermarket over here provided those to me.
Similar story in the other direction. Fancy looking towers. Yeah, something tells me this is one of the poshest areas of Ulaanbaatar. Maybe even the poshest. I have to look that up later. Because I just found another proof. Right here, empty because it's Sunday, is the International School of Ulaanbaatar.
Yeah, in my experience, international schools are usually in upscale areas. You know, because of the proximity of expats and such. Same here in Amsterdam, where I live. And here's an aerial of the international school. I'm currently standing over there, and it looks like a school with many facilities. Now, I found this graph of the city displaying its urban poverty index. I'm currently over there where the poverty is very low. Indeed, that's how the area looks and feels. It felt like I was still in the Zaisan area, one of the richest areas of the city, although a local later told me that everything above the Tul River is not considered Zaisan anymore. And earlier in the video you saw me passing the Tul River north. As part of the exploration of the social divide in this city, later on in this video I will go to the Ger Districts in this area and in this area, which are clearly lower income areas judging from the increased purple color. Much more on those areas when we get there. And this other map over here also has those social divide contrasts lined out. The Ger Districts I'll visit are yellow areas here and here. But for now, let's dive deeper into the posh Zaisan-like area I'm at, like right here, and see what it's like inside those areas. And I will do so in time-lapse mode.
gated communities it is. Cannot get in. These are locked communities. Gated communities is the more appropriate term. In fact, some of them are literally fenced communities. Wow. That doesn't look very inviting, I have to say. Not seen that very often before. They're still building, it's brand new. Oh, look at those towers in the back, man. Wow. See a kindergarten there. The name is King Tower. It says King Tower. Yeah, this is posh. I started to make my way to the Ger Districts. Little traffic jam here. See if I can demap my space here. I can, and I will. Move over to the bike lane. Along the way was this place that Google Maps simply called National Park. So I'm not entirely sure what it is.
So here's where I'm at. It's simply called National Park of Ulaanbaatar. Yeah, I had no idea this park was there, and I just stumbled upon it because it's about halfway between the Posh and the Ger District areas. The Green Oasis is its nickname. So here's a flyer depicting some facts and figures, and I took a little bit of time to explore the park. So come and join me.
It is recreational, that's for sure. You can rent these little cars for kids. It's a Sunday. People are enjoying their day off. See, there's a lot more. There in the back are the residential high-rises where I shot my introduction segment. So you can see I haven't really made it that far yet. So let's say goodbye to the national park and continue. I see quite a few kids biking around. And there are some signs that biking culture is alive here, which is always nice to see. There's another one. Anyway, I'm going further east. The first Ger district is right over there, on my left hand side.
Yeah, I noticed this kind of deserted path over here, so I decided to take it because it looked like I could have some nice views over there. So I was, yeah, you know, going off the beaten path, so to say. So I put my bike away, and here we go.
We're not yet at the Ger districts, but that right there is the first Ger I see at close range. So it was fitting to take a moment to give you more introduction on the Ger Districts, also because it's kind of awkward to do that right in the middle of a Ger District. So that white tent right there is a Ger, or a yurt. And it's the tent that the nomads here in Mongolia use to move all over the vast lands of Mongolia. Yeah, it's an extremely large country. And they move themselves all over the country and they take their home with them. And that is the Ger. That's the mobile home. Now, in search for a better life, people come to Ulaanbaatar. And it's now the situation that 60% of the people in Ulaanbaatar live in Ger districts. Those are districts, usually more toward the outskirts, where you have a mix of low-rise houses, often with colored roofs. You can see it very easily on Google Maps. Yeah, a lot of Gers. Again, also that is very visible on Google Maps.
It's really remarkable. I mean, at first glance on Google Maps, it may seem that Ulaanbaatar is not that huge of a city. I certainly thought so when I first laid eyes on this map. Look what happens when you zoom in. What appeared to be empty slopes of the hills surrounding the core of the city, on the north side in this case, are actually endless stretches of Ger districts. Here's me going north and north and north until at a certain point we reached kind of the end. But wow, as more and more people move into the city, the Ger districts keep on expanding and expanding.
If you do some research online, you can see various reasons why people take along their Gers to the city. First of all, a Ger is really part of the identity of Mongolia, so people are proud of it. Second of all, if you move to the city, life is not going to be easy either. So it's also less expensive to have a Ger instead of a house. But if you study the Ger districts online, and I've done that, you can see that life is not easy there. This website over here lists several challenges, from education to water to heat. I reflect a little bit more on that in my skate video. There's a lot of air pollution here because, especially in the winter, in the Ger districts, people use coal to warm their tents. Moreover, the pavements, the infrastructure is not that great, so life is not so easy. Now, around the residential areas there are fences, so I'm not gonna be that awkward tourist filming the private residential areas of people, so we're just gonna bike through it. But remember that behind every fence could be a Ger or two. When I flew in, I made some nice footage from the outskirts of Ulaanbaatar, and I could easily see from above the Ger, so I'll show that footage right over here. And there are also several pictures that you can find online from people that really made their way out into the hills and made very nice pictures of Ger districts. So yeah, it's very fascinating stuff. I didn't realize that until I did my research before coming here, that 60% of the people lives in Ger districts here in Ulaanbaatar. And that is in sharp contrast with that area over here that I'm just coming from, that has all the high rises.
Yeah, the contrast was evident, as also shown in this footage taken at the top of Zaisan Hill in part 1 of this trip. The contrast is fascinating, but also sobering, you know, given the hardships experienced in the Ger districts. You know, I just explained that to you. And the effects on the air pollution. Still was eager to experience some Ger districts up close. So I got going and passed under the railroad tracks. And as I went deep into East Ulaanbaatar, the vibe did get a little rougher at the edges. Now here's what's coming up. I'm biking here currently, and to my right is a Ger district that I'll be exploring, as obvious from the red marking. And if I zoom in, you will see lots of Gers. You know, those little circles that you see. As usual in these kind of areas, I don't feel comfortable stopping inside to make footage, you know, that's really too much of a naive tourist. So it will be a long single shot scene. Here we go.
I think here it is. Yes. Yeah. No asphalt. Happy that I rented this mountain bike, that's for sure. Eager to see, truly eager to see what area 60% of the Ulaanbaatar people call home. More than half. You know, a lot of the everyday life Ulaanbaatar citizens takes place here, not in those high buildings we just visited. This is where more than half of the people are. You can see in the back there the tops of some gers. There. And what is interesting is that from the Google Maps zoom, you can see that some people have both a home, house, and one or two or sometimes even three gers. So I wonder when they use the ger and when they use the house. It's really cool to see Mongolian people stick to their identity and their roots. You know, being the nomad people that they are. Respect. I'm from the Netherlands. And factually speaking, there's nothing exciting about living in the Netherlands. We have no rough nature, no deserts. It's pretty predictable. Boring. Yeah, so this kind of, I mean, I got a lot of respect from me. No ger. It is true that it's all pretty well fenced off. Which is also why a full-blown view of a ger will probably be unlikely. Oh. Look at the contrast. Wow. All of a sudden a residential tower here with kids playing on the playground right at the edge of the Ger District. Let's look at the poster there. Well, my Mongolian is not so good, but it looks like they're going to build quite some residential towers here in an area called Serene Town, Mongolia. What is not clear to me, if they're gonna demolish then part of the Ger District. I really don't know. Maybe not. Maybe this is the edge already, right here. See the building right there?
Yep, they're building a lot. Those two that you see over there are new. They were not there yet when I was there. Because currently I am biking on that sand road over there. Yeah, lots of construction ongoing. And if you wonder, this is an aerial from the Facebook site of the complex.
So I guess I'm reaching the end of it here.
Yeah, the district continued across the street over there in the distance, so I decided to check that part out briefly as well.
This one has a pretty good view on the Ger in the yard. I think this is dead end. There are of course many more Ger districts that I could visit. Most of them I actually lined up against the slopes of the surrounding hills. I think my footage on top of Zaisan Hill made that clear. Hey, I have not seen that yet. People on road bikes. professional amateurs, so to say. Interesting monument there. I have to look up what that monument is. I'll let you know when I'm editing. Another monument and a roundabout coming up. That's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know the 3 airplanes on top depicting the squadron.
Yeah, so stick with me as I make 3/4 of a turn. Alright. Alright. Well, that wasn't too hard, I should say. Bus station it is. Bus station it is. I'm actually at Peace Avenue. I think we passed it earlier in my video, and it played a prominent role in my inline skating video as well. I think it's the main street of Ulaanbaatar. It runs from east to west, and in my inline skating video I went all the way west where it turns into a Moscow street. I told you before, Ulaanbaatar has a long history of association with the Soviet Union. Yeah, I went off Peace Street to a residential area. I guess this could be middle class, I don't know. The towers are not as posh as the towers that started the current video. It isn't a Ger district either. Alright, here's a good view. Going downhill. Yeah, like right here, I can clearly see the Ger districts lining the hills there in the back. I can see the Gers. I don't think you can see that on the footage probably, even if I zoom in.
Yeah, here I was biking along Ik Toiru, another major east-west road in the city. I did not realize enough I was biking at almost a literal border between the non-Ger areas and the northern Ger areas. But when I looked to my right, I saw vast stretches of Ger district nestled along the foothills, the ones I saw earlier from a distance. Here are the vast stretches of Ger district at the hills, kilometers at end. Here's a view I shot 50 minutes later from a more western position, and you can see the residences up until the top of the hill. By now I was running out of time because I had to be back to return the bike, but curiosity got the better of me, so I decided to pay this area a quick visit. Specifically, I took this road up here, and I tell you, it was pretty steep. You will also see how very suddenly the infrastructure changes 180 degrees, again underscoring the contrasts that exist within the city of Ulaanbaatar. So here we go.
This one is indeed going uphill. Here. Pretty steep, I'll tell you. Don't have much more time. I'm gonna give you 360. See the hills there. This will be going more and more uphill.
Yeah, I had to turn around, short on time. Tell you, biking here is not easy at all. Steepness, the dirt roads, but I really love the authenticity of these areas. It's really inspiring to be here. You know, in the end, more than half of Ulaanbaatar people call these areas home. So in that sense, it's very fascinating to see these areas, but it also gave me a sobering feeling, you know, having read about the challenges of these areas. Anyway, back to the main roads.
All right. Yeah, park my bike right there. This makes for a really nice 360. Got the hills in the back there, with some residential areas, apartment towers, a lot of hill over there, with clearly visible a Ger District, and in fact, the part of the Ger District I just did was at the foot of that hill. I told you it was going more and more uphill, and eventually I would have reached the top there. But I did not reach the top, obviously. Busy road, again towers, again hills on this, let's say, south side of the city. And they are not occupied by residential areas.
And only during editing did I realize that that over there is the US Embassy. Yeah, by now I really had to hurry. So I took the main road again and did not deviate from it. Straight to the rental place.
Alright folks, that was it. We're close to the location of the rental facility. Let's check out statistics. 4.5 hours and 25 kilometers? I don't think so. About half an hour ago I noticed that the GPS app had stopped working. And I could see right now that it stopped working in the east. In the very east where I was. I think it's fair to add 8 to 10 kilometers to it, so it's more likely to be 35 kilometers. So this trip had two parts. In part one we went to several interesting locations. The Silk Road Monument, Zaisan Hill, etc. And in part two we shifted our focus to the contrast of the city. And that contrast could already be seen from the top of Zaisan Hill. It's the contrast between the large apartment towers and the Ger Districts, where 60% of the people in Ulaanbaatar live. So yeah, I think I've shown that contrast in part two. It was really enjoyable to bike around in Ulaanbaatar. Great way to explore the city. I went about it for much longer than expected, given my painful knee. My knee has been doing well. Thank you for asking. It's still hot, but it was nice weather. So thanks for joining me over here in the capital of Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar. And see you in the next Wheelsabroad adventure. Nice.
Now that the sequence in Ulaanbaatar has been completed, we will stay in Asia but move over to the Middle East, the Gulf region. I will return to the Arabic Peninsula after my visit to Saudi Arabia last year. And dear viewers, the next city on Wheelsabroad will be Muscat, capital of the country of Oman. Now as fate wanted it, only 2 months after I was there, the war between Iran and the opposing countries started. Even Oman and also Saudi Arabia got attacked by Iran, as this news item shows. And I expected I had been in Oman just in time, as most likely fewer people would dare to travel to the Middle East for a while now. Oman's right there, across from Iran, separated by the Gulf of Oman. Its capital Muscat is about there, right at the coast. I did some cool inline skating and biking in Muscat city. It has a unique and fascinating geography. Lots of sand, highway biking, hills, mosques, desert. It was awesome. Come and explore the Middle East with me again.